What's up everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to discuss the fire, wind, and water rift piece, and how to build like some basic teams for them. We might do maybe a little bit more advanced teams later on in the video, but for now we'll just do like the basic ones, just to try to get your A's, A pluses, or S's, so then you could farm for your homunculus. And the reason why the homunculus is really good, especially for a beginner, they decrease the amount of resources needed in order to actually make your homunculus. It used to be pretty time consuming and difficult in the beginning, but the homunculus is just really good for like TOA and TOA hard progression, and it's a free to play unit, and yeah, all you have to do is just farm, and while you're farming you could obtain good runes and just acquire resources that assist you in other parts of the game. So yeah, so it's important to do your Rift Beast farming, and then also for the Rift Beast farming, before we get into the homunculus, you can craft these reappraisal stones, and you should craft these every single week. So you should farm for the fire crystal, the frozen water crystal, and the wind crystal. You should farm 90, at least 90 every single week, so then you can make your reappraisal stones, because you can only make 3 per week, and these are just really beneficial to reappraise your legendary runes to change the substats on them. Yeah, it just re-rolls the rune. So pretty much like you did a dungeon run and just got another legendary rune. That's pretty much what the reappraisal stones are for. Alright, so for the homunculus, I recommend new players to go for the water one first and take the entire bottom skill tree. So all these, this is the, you have to first farm for the homunculus, and then you have to farm to unlock each one of these abilities. So I guess I could show the light and dark one, since I actually haven't done it yet. So through skill evolution, you'll see that each one of these skills actually cost more crystals. So once you unlock the homunculus, you do have to pay more crystals in order to unlock their abilities afterwards. They still have like the basic standard ability, but they won't have like all these unlocked until you farm for them. Yeah. So as you can see, it increases in price for crystals each time you try to unlock the next skill. So we're going to go over the teams that you should make in order to farm these crystals for the homunculus. But yeah, but I'd recommend the water skill tree and just taking the entire bottom tree, because this is going to be what you use for your TOA farming. And you could do this as a Feynman farmer as well. Feynman Hell, if you don't have a Beth and let me turn my notifications off here. There we go. Yeah, so if you don't have what am I trying to say? Yeah, if you don't have a Feynman farmer, so if you're not using Lapis as your Feynman Hell farmer, and you don't have a Beth or like an Alicia or something like that, and I mean Lucian could be used for Aiden, but we're gonna focus around like beginner players that are looking to focus on TOA and progressing and making more 6-star stuff like that. Yeah, so if you farm for these Rift Beasts, I would say that you could at least get B pluses and A minuses on them, and they'll still give you enough crystals per run in order to make the run actually worth it to farm for the homunculus. Yeah. So you want to go for the entire bottom tree because it has all AoE damaging abilities for skill 1, skill 2, and skill 3. So skill 1 will hit all enemies with a chance to freeze, and then skill 2 will hit all enemies and decrease their attack bar. It hits 3 times. I think it's right here. Yeah, so it attacks all of them 3 times, and then decreases their attack bar by 30% with a 60% chance. So you could technically decrease everyone's attack bar by 90% with this AoE damaging ability. And then skill 3 is really nice, specifically for TOA. I mean, basically anywhere, but more for TOA, because when a monster has a bunch of harmful effects on it, the water homunculus will hit everybody, and we'll put possibility of putting 2 continuous damage effects on them, and then we'll put 1 more continuous damage effect for each harmful effect that's already on the monster. So so the water homunculus could technically in one turn put 4 continuous damage effects. It'll put the original 2 and then it'll put an additional one for each harmful effect. So in total, it could put 4 continuous damage effects in one turn. And if there's more harmful effects on it, then you could, if there's like an Oblivion or block beneficial effect, an attack break, a defense break, anything like that, that could have the chance to put in an additional continuous damage effect. So that's 3 AoE abilities. So you put your Water Homunculus on Despair, and you have a chance to hit everybody in TOA with a possibility to Despair stun them, or reduce their attack bar with skill 2, or put continuous damage effects on with skill 3. So now we'll go into the Rift piece, and I'll just kind of talk through some of these teams. So with this one, you should be runing, you should get Xiaolin, and you can obtain Xiaolin from the guild magic shop. You can get her pieces, so that's why I would recommend getting her. If you don't have Bastet, then you could use Lapis. I don't have a Lapis on this account because this one's really old, and yeah, I just don't have a Lapis on here. Never built her, so I'm just going to be using Beth. But Lapis also, actually Beth would actually be better because, Lapis would actually be better because all of Lapis's abilities do multi-hits, when Beth only just has 2 abilities that do multi-hits. But and then instead of Bastet, we could put in we'd probably put in like Colleen. I think Colleen would be fine up front, or you could even put in Fran. Anybody that gives an attack buff. So I just have Bastet up there because she's water. But yeah, as you can see, I don't have any healers on this team, and it still does well. But just to make it more relatable, we'll just put Colleen up here. And then for leader skill, I'm going to put in Shayna. So I am using the twins, so I guess it's not that relatable. I guess to make it more relatable, we could also put in like Sigmaris. So I'll take out Beth and put in Sigmaris in here. But we're going to keep the attack power lead, because that's probably the most important thing to put in here. Yeah, so we'll just run this. And I'm not looking for anything crazy. If we get A+, that's fantastic. Even just an A, I wouldn't mind that either. So, but I'm expecting this team to do decently well, just because we do have water units on here. And yeah. So the main purpose for the Fire Rift piece is to farm for those fire crystals, so then you can use those to unlock the skills for your homunculus. And then so also farm the crystals for your reappraisal stones. Yeah. And then your glory towers that you farm in arena are really going to boost the stats of everybody in here as well. So if you can see here under ally buffs, all of these stats right here, the crit damage, the speed, all that stuff is from my glory towers. So that's also going to play a part in how much damage I'm doing. In, even though my runes on my monsters, I don't have a whole lot of speed on these guys, but with the 14% speed that my glory towers gives me, then that makes me a little bit faster. Because all of these guys are around like 30 to 40 speed, plus 30 to 40 speed. But yeah, but I'm looking for AoE damage dealers and then 2 big hitters. But I have 2 AoE damage dealers, which I'm relying on Sigmaris to do an AoE damaging ability with their skill 3, and then Shayna with her skill 2. So I'm hoping that hits like that. And if it doesn't, then we're going to run into a little bit of problems here. Yeah, when these fire minions deal damage. But since we have a bunch of water minions in here, or water monsters in here, then we should be okay and be able to survive all that, the little bomb damage. But if you have another damage dealer, if you have like Lapis in here, when she takes a turn, she'll be able to kill all those bombs, which I'll showcase. I'll take out Sigmaris and then I'll put in Beth. Yeah, I was actually not expecting to do that much damage, so that was kind of surprising. But yeah, now we'll put in Beth. We'll prepare, and Beth will go in here. I think we were doing more damage too because I took out Bastet and I had the defense lead going instead of having Shayna in here and doing the attack percent lead. So yeah, the main things you want to focus on, have it Lapis in here so then she will kill all of these ads right here. So I'm going to utilize Beth to do that just because I don't have Lapis. And then I use the twins to be the heavy damage dealers. And then Xiaolin's up front, and you should be building Xiaolin for your raid team. And she's just able to assist with putting out damage and then also being able to self-sustain because she is on that vampire set. And then I always put in a healer or some sort of attack buffer. Yeah. So either I'll put in Bastet for the attack buff and the shields, or I'll put in a healer with an attack buff. So you could either put like Chasun, Colleen, or Fran. I think all of them will be fine. And they're okay on the front line, as you saw. And I'll show the runes after this as well. But yeah, the main focus is to kill the ads when they come out, which your Lapis is going to be able to do that, and then do big damage during the groggy state. That's where you get all of your damage from. So you could even put in like Crow if you don't have the twins. Crow would be just fine. And who else is a big damage dealer in the beginning? Like Sigmaris is really good. You could do that as well. So actually this next run we'll take out the twins and put in Sigmaris and Crow, and we'll just see how that does. Because I do have my best like damage dealing sets and violent runes on the twins. So we'll actually change this up and see how well the other team does. Sell that. Alright, so we'll go to prepare. So my Xiaolin doesn't have anything crazy. She is on a vampire set, so I realize that a lot of people aren't going to have vampire sets when they're first starting out the game. But you could put her on a fatal set, a full blade set, a full energy set, however you want to do it. The main thing that you want to do is just make sure she gets around like plus 400 to plus 500 defense, because when you have a more than 1,000 defense, it makes it easier to tank the front line. She shouldn't be taking too many hits when she's on the front line, maybe 2. And then since she's water, she'll be able to withstand the burst damage from all those bomb ad things. And then, yeah, because you can see that HP and defense is really not that great. And she's not even skilled up. And then Colleen. A lot of people put Colleen on a Violent Revenge. I just have her on Fight Revenge, specifically so that I could do better in the Rift Beast. I have her on the Fight Runes, but if you want to put her on, you just want her pretty tanky and fast. She's going to be the fast one, everybody else could be slow, but you want to make sure that her heal is available, and since she actually adds debuffs, the attack break and the heal block during the groggy state, then somebody like Crow would actually do really good damage. And if you have Brandia does awesome here too. She's just like Crow, but does even more damage. But yeah, we'll take out these twins. We could take out Beth too. We'll put Sigmaris down here. We'll put Crow down here. You guys might have a Theomar, so we can put him in there too. Just try to make this last team really relatable. Because Crow can be built as well. And then Shayna, she's actually not even on a good set. She's actually not tanky. So I'll just keep her in there for the attack lead. Is there anybody else that we could actually have in here that you guys would be able to have on your accounts? That's actually a good question. I don't know. I'm assuming you guys would have at least one twin. Yeah, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Actually, Rayok. We'll put him in there. That's fine. Alright, so we can go for... We don't need HP. Don't need that. We could do crit rate. But most of them have pretty close to 100% crit rate. Actually, he does not. Okay. And Sigmaris does not. Okay, yeah, so we'll go with the crit rate lead. That's fine. Alright, so my Crow's runes, very standard. You just have them on the Rage Blade. And if you don't have Rage runes, then you could just use a fight set. That's fine. He's not skilled up. He's not really that tanky. He's just in there just to do the big damage during the groggy state and to help take down the boss early. Ryok is really good. Violent Will is just what I have him on for like PvP type of stuff. Speed, crit damage, HP instead of speed, crit damage, attack, because I want him. He still does pretty good damage because he is an attack type unit. So you could do speed, crit damage, attack. I just have him up there for a little bit more survivability. And yeah, Theomars. Just a violent damage dealing set. He's not skilled up either, and he's just on attack, crit damage, attack. Actually, not even a fully powered up rune either. And then, oop, let me get Sigmaris back in here. Yeah, Sigmaris, just a fatal broken set. Almost fully skilled up, but yeah, still pretty slow, but just on a semi-decent damage build. Just attack, crit damage, and attack. Very old runes on her. And then you guys saw Xiaolin and Colleen earlier. So yeah, so we'll run this and see how this one goes. So we don't have AoE damage dealers besides Sigmaris. So everybody's going to get hit by the bombs, but let's just see how we do. And if we get an A, then, I mean, that's just fine. I don't mind if we get an A. That works. Yeah, so Sigmar's is able to clear all those ads. Definitely in the first wave shouldn't be a problem before the groggy state. And then once the groggy state comes up, then hopefully we could deal about 2 million damage. That'd be nice, because that's the threshold to get an A. You have to do 2 million damage. Or it's like 1900, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 million. Maybe 2 million is an A+. I actually forget the exact number for that. Cool, so we got the defense break. So that's really good for Crow and for Rayok. And then Crow actually does provide that the branding effect, so that's going to assist with us dealing a little bit better damage. Yeah, and then the higher your glory towers go up, the more damage you're going to deal over time as well. Because that does provide, if you max out the crit damage tower, it provides an extra 25% crit damage, which is really big. I mean, 25% is pretty huge. Alright, so now the ads are coming out. Hopefully our skills rotated enough to where Sigmaris has her skill 3 back up. Hopefully she actually moves before. Cool, she did. Awesome. So I'm assuming that if her skill 3 wasn't up, then most of our units probably would have died right there. I think. Yeah, I think Rayok and probably Crow would have died here. Well, actually, yeah, they're probably going to die right now. Yeah, so most of the units are just about dead. Yeah, with this hit, they're going to die. Xiaolin's still up front, and then Theomars is in the back. Yeah, with Xiaolin on Vampire, that made that a little easier. Okay, so we still were able to clear. But I think somebody with a worse rune quality wouldn't be able to clear that, but I think they would still get at least an A. But that's probably like the most relatable team I could build for an early game player. Because I don't have any of the other units. Like, I don't have a Lapis. Actually, Lapis would make this easier, so you still might be able to get at least an S. Because Lapis has multi-hits. Alright, so now we'll go over to the Ice Beast. I use the twins pretty much anywhere for my dungeon runs and for all of my Rift Beasts as well. Even the Light Rift Beast and the Dark one. But I obviously don't use the Water Twins in the Wind Rift Beast. But yeah. But with all the 4-star events that have been out, I'm assuming that most of you should have Illusion. If you do not, then I could look for another damage dealer while we farm these dungeons. Actually, we'll just do that now. Just in case you don't have Illusion, we'll take him out. Actually, you won't have a homunculus because you're farming for the homunculus. So never mind. We'll keep the Illusion in. Not that one. We'll keep this one in there. And then we'll put Crow back in here because he's a good damage dealer. Where's he at? Right here. I like to use Hralsvelg, but you can use... if you don't have him built, we'll just use Bernard. Yeah, Bernard is a good use for frontlining. I just have mine 5-starred. Definitely not tanky, but he is fast. And the reason why this is important for... I'll just start the battle here. Excuse me. But yeah, but the reason why Bernard is important in this team, or Hralsvelg for that matter, is because they provide a speed buff. And you could also use Mav. Mav would be okay here as well. Mav is actually pretty good because he rotates skills and then also provides the speed buff. But the speed buff is important because when you see their health bars go down to like that blue status, they need to take a turn in order to reduce that blue bar. So Bernard provides the attack bar boost and then also the speed buff. So then the monster could take a turn. Yeah, so that's the reason why it's important to have Bernard, Mav, or like a Hralsvelg or anything like that in here to assist with building those turns and cycling those turns. And Bernard, you usually rune tanky. Usually you prioritize speed over tankiness, specifically for him because you just use him for an attack bar booster just to, yeah, for like your Bernard, Megan, Lucian teams, stuff like that for your cleave comps. But yeah, the struggle is after the groggy state. Not necessarily with like the blue health bar, but the Ice Rift Beast does freeze quite often. When he does like the swinging, what is that called? The rage hit or something like that? What is this? Ice Sweep. Yeah, so when he does that, when he does the Ice Sweep, yeah, so you see back there he just froze our entire backline. which isn't a huge deal because after this he'll use that ice breath, whatever stuff again. So he won't deal damage after he freezes, but it just delays the amount of turns that you're able to take. So then you just do less damage over time. Yeah, but as you can see, Bernard is still able to tank the front line with Chasun, and I'll show the Chasun runes as well, and then I can show my twins. But I don't know how well like Sigmaris would do in this, because Sigmaris really isn't that tanky. It doesn't have the elemental advantage, but we could try her out. And I'll just utilize Beth instead of using like a Lapis, just in case you guys don't have the twins. So we'll take them out. Lucian, I have him on 100% crit rate, but I'm just going to use him for the attack percent lead. And then Crow, you saw him. Chasun, I have her tanky and on violent, specifically because of raids. She's a frontliner in my raids. I think I showed Bernard prior, but there's Bernard's runes. And then, yeah, I showed Sigmaris before, and then I'll put Beth in here. And we'll just see how this does. I'm not expecting this to do anything crazy. We'll probably actually fail because Sigmaris will die. And I don't know about Beth because she's tanky. But I just have her on this broken set. And I'm assuming that you should be able to get your Lapis pretty close to what I can get my Beth. Because you could just do HP crit damage attack just like here. And Beth has a little bit higher stats, but you should get pretty close to what this is at. Even with that Vampire Revenge set that Lapis gets early on, if you have her 6-star, she should be really close to what my best stats are at. Except for the HP. But instead of doing HP crit damage attack, you could do like attack crit damage attack. Or whatever the set actually has. I forget exactly what it is. Yeah, but I'm just going to compare Lapis with Beth. But I think Lapis is actually better. Just because all of her moves are multi-hits. Yeah, so let's just see how this does damage-wise. I'm not expecting anything crazy here. The twins provide quite a bit of damage during their groggy state, and they're on violent, so if they take extra turns, then they do even more damage. So I'm not expecting anything crazy. I'm just looking for A+, pretty much as an A and above. Because if you get an A, you should get anywhere between 5 and like 9 crystals. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but if you refresh one time, refresh your energy one time, and you're getting 5 crystals per run, then that means you're getting anywhere between 50 and 60, or probably like 50 and 65 crystals at minimum per refresh. So if you want to do the math on that, for how many runs you're going to have to do in order to unlock all the skills, I think you only need like 1,000 crystals in total. So if you're getting 50, at minimum 50 per refresh, then yeah, then you only have to refresh 20 times. Which is 600 crystals, which, I mean, that is a lot for somebody who is completely free to play. But if you just do this over time, like maybe doing it over the course of a month, you'll spend like 250 to 300 crystals a week just refreshing and doing these dungeons. And while you're doing this, you're getting mana, which you could use to power up the runes that you have. You could farm Arena with your wings and power up your glory towers, and then while you're farming other parts, whether the rune drops in Rift Beast or rune drops in your like Giants runs or anything like that, you can just replace it on one of your damage dealing monsters for your Rift Beast runs, and hopefully that'll make it better. Instead of getting an A, you get an A+, maybe you'll get an S every once in a while. So at minimum, you should be getting like 5 crystals at a time. Yeah, so the Rageful Roar is the one part that you want to avoid. So we didn't do enough damage to actually take him down after the groggy state. So yeah, we probably won't be able to finish him off here. If we do, we'll be pretty lucky. But I'm also assuming that most people won't be able to finish him off by the end of the run anyway. So okay, so we did happen to do it, but most people probably won't be able to with this specific team. But I'm assuming you'll at least get an A, if not an A+. And this is probably like the most relatable team I could build with you guys. All right, and then now we'll go to the Wind Rift Beast, which is actually the one that I struggle with a lot. But here, actually instead of Leica, I really like Leica on the front line for a lot of my teams, but let's do something that's a little bit more relatable. I was thinking maybe we could do Bulldozer, since he is really tanky on the front line. Yeah, so let's just see how that works. He's not on Vampire though. Leica is, so I really would like him to be on the front line, but yeah, I can't expect you guys to have a Leica. But this is pretty much as free to play you can get for a Windrift Beast. So, actually, I don't think Garo is free to play. He does have to be summoned. So, okay, I'll have to take out the Garo and see what we can put in place of that for a fire damage dealer. Or a wind damage dealer, you could put either one. Yeah, but the Windrift Beast, as you saw there, he does that, what was that, Electric Breath? Lightning Roar, that's what it is. Yeah, so he puts that electric shock on your entire team, and you have to heal your character to max health in order to get that electric shock off of the character. So it doesn't matter if you just do a little bit of a heal, whatever it takes, but they do have to reach maximum health in order for the electric shock to go away. So a lot of people actually put like Vertihile in their team in order to rotate the skills for their healers so that they can constantly heal. And then when you actually do heal a character to max health, you actually deal damage to the boss. So healing does matter. So that's why Vertihile is pretty useful here. And then with Vertihile's skill 1, he actually heals himself. So if you were around when the Vampire Lord or Vampire King, whatever his name is, I forget. But I actually have him maxed out too, but I just don't utilize him. But he could actually be good here as well because he provides an attack buff and then also that vampire buff. I forget what it's called. It might just be called vampire buff. I'm not really sure. Yeah, but he provides the heal that whenever somebody attacks, then they'll heal themselves. So that's actually a pretty useful buff. But Garo's really good here. Good at self-sustaining, especially since I have him on a vampire set. But I actually struggled with the Windrift Beast for a while. It's definitely the hardest one, in my opinion. Unless you have like a Perna. Perna is really good here. And then and Leica is really good here as well. And Garo. Brandia is also really solid. Yeah, but this should get us the A+. And then you'll see that we still get, how many crystals do we get for getting an A+? Well, 7 crystals, so not bad. And then we'll prepare, take the Garo out, and, oh man, who did I say? Oh yeah, Vertihile. So we'll use Verd here. First gotta find him. Yeah, here we go. And he's gonna increase the attack speed of everybody in here, which is actually gonna be really nice. Because Hua's damage also goes off of the, off of speed. Yeah, so Vertihile will help rotate everybody's skills. He will, the only problem is going to be when the heals are down and then he gives somebody a turn. If they have the electric shock on them, then it's kind of like a poison effect that when they take a turn without being healed, then they actually get extra damage done to them. Yeah, but I would recommend Bulldozer being on the front line just because you naturally build Bulldozer tanky with high defense and a decent amount of HP, and he still deals a good amount of damage as well. The only problem is that he stuns himself when he uses his skill 3, but at least it provides a good amount of damage. But you're mainly just having him on the front line just as a fire tank, so then your front line doesn't die. But he still provides a decent amount of damage. Nothing crazy. Yeah, but Vertihile's in here to rotate the turns and to yeah, just keep giving everybody that attack bar. In the groggy state, there is a finite amount of turns you take, so that bar is just going to keep on going up naturally, no matter how many times Verd boosts everybody's attack bar. Yeah, but now everybody has full attack bar, and then the Rageful Roar comes out, so hopefully, yeah, so Colleen had her heal up, so that's really nice, and then hopefully Bella will heal as well. Alright, Verd, relax. There we go. Yeah, so Bella got her heal off as well, so now Crow is the only one with the electric shock, so we might actually come semi-close to clearing this dungeon. Yeah, Verd does provide that that turn cycling that is needed for there. And as you see, every time somebody gets healed to full health, um, the health bar goes down every time somebody reaches full health. Yeah, so we should be able to kill. Yeah, nice. So we actually killed, and this is pretty much like a completely free-to-play team. You can get Bulldozer, you can get Bella Dion, you can get Hua from the Guild Magic shop. Colleen is given to you at the beginning of the game. Verd is fusible, and Crow, you could farm the Dark Inagami to get Crow. So that's a free-to-play team you could use. And actually, I'll show the runes on everybody. So Hua, I just have her on a Swift build. Don't really mind the guard set, I just happen to have good speed and good subs on each one of these runes. But I just have her on speed, crit damage, HP, and here's her stats. She doesn't have anything really crazy, I just wanted to make sure that she was fast, because her damage does scale off of her speed, as well as her attack. And you want to give her a good amount of HP in order for her to survive R5. And then Bella Dion, I don't think I've changed Bella pretty much since the beginning of the game. I actually took runes off of Bella to give them to other units, so these are all just kind of like random runes. And the accuracy is just really high on there, specifically for dragons when I used Bella in dragons back in the day. But decent tankiness, and again, not too fast, nothing really crazy about her. She's not even second awakened. Vertihile, I do have him actually on a fast, violent revenge set, specifically for like PvP stuff. Yeah, so I'm not expecting you to fully match these runes, but yeah, if you can manage to get a decent violent set, especially like a crit rate slot 4 rune, very beneficial, because you do want Vertihile at max crit rate, because he does need to crit in order to boost everybody's attack bar. And he hits twice with skill 2 and skill 1. And then every time he crits, then he boosts the attack bar by 20%, and each attack with skill 1 and skill 2 hits twice, so that's actually 40% attack bar. And I just have him on speed, crit rate, and HP. And just making sure that he has maxed out crit rate. Crow, you saw him. Colleen, you saw her. Alright, so now Bulldozer, I think I showed him as well. And yeah, not that fast, I just put him on the front line, because he's tanky, and he could just take a bunch of punches to the face that the boss will do. And yeah, those are my thoughts and ideas on for the fire, water, wind rift beasts, the teams that you could use. I try to do as close to units that you can use as possible. I don't recommend farming for the homunculus until later on, once you're able to do giants, dragons, and TOA. And once you start to try to work on TOA hard, that's when I would recommend trying to get the water rift beast. I mean, not the water rift beast, the water homunculus. And at that time, your runes should be good enough to get at least A's on all of those dungeons. And once you do that, go to the craft building and go to the homunculus, and yeah, and then just look in there on unlocking, and then going through all of the skills and pick the ones that you like. But for farming for TOA hard, then yeah, do the water homunculus, and then go with the complete bottom skill tree down here. And that'll give you all the AoE damage dealing abilities, it'll give you the continuous damage effects, which are really important for TOA hard, especially on the later floors, because you can't deal enough damage to kill anything, because they just have like a million health. So you just have to wear them down with the continuous damage. Put him on a despair set, and then he's good to go. But he will just only have basic abilities if you don't level up the skills. So once you unlock the homunculus, put the effort in to continue to run the rift beasts to get them done. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or have any thoughts on the monsters that you use for the rift beast, yeah, please let me know in the comment section below. And if you learned something from it, then let me know that too. That'd be great. I'm always happy to help you guys out. So I do stream on the weekends on Saturday and Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, yeah, and then we make videos Monday through Friday. So I look forward to the next video. Tomorrow will be another siege battle video. And that's all I got. So I will see you guys in the next video, and hope you guys have a good week and a good weekend. And I'll talk to you later.